So this is what you're going to do with this packet. Of course, write your name, write your class period. The value scale is pretty simple. You can do it with a pencil. You can do it without a pencil and use just a black colored pencil. 0 is white, so that means nothing happens. 1 is a very lightly shaded, very lightly shaded. You need to try to color value match this value that's above. I recommend that you start out light and you slowly keep building up. You need to stay in the lines because cleanliness and neatness is a part of the grading that I'm going to be doing on this assignment, and whether or not you're matching the value that's above it. Okay, so you're going to go all the way across. When you get to the very last one that is true black, you most likely will not be able to get that with the pencils. You're probably going to have to use a colored pencil for that one or a black Sharpie. So 9, I'd recommend a Sharpie or a colored pencil for it. 8, I'd recommend a colored pencil for it because those black colors are so hard to achieve. And this is a true black. A subtle black would be where I'd make a little less pressure on my paper with my pencil, trying to make sure that it's still almost in that black family, but it's just a little bit lighter. So I'd work it up as I'm going. I'd start out lighter and I'd keep going and going many times over top of my coloring until I got to where I needed it to be. And as you can see, I'm also staying in the lines. Then, after you get done doing your entire value scale all the way across, you're going to start moving down on your paper. Every form has an example. So, this is the form example. That's the form that you're going to do. You're going to apply value looking at the example in the same way. This little thing right here, that's supposed to mimic what your light source is. So I have a little white spot on my sphere, and I'm pushing my value going up and around, and as I'm getting closer to the edges, I'm pushing it a little bit harder, making sure that I'm getting my value a little bit darker. If my value looks a little grainy and choppy, something that you can do to make it not look so grainy and choppy is you can blend it. And a tool that you can do to blend it with is taking a tissue and smudging it with the tip of your pencil. Don't use your fingers to blend. You may have done that in the past. Someone may have let you do it. In this room, we don't blend with our fingers. Blending with our fingers is a big no-no. You've got lots of oils produced by your skins, and when you blend with your fingers, all what it does is pushes the oils into the paper, and it makes your artwork look greasy and splotchy. So we never blend with fingers. Right now, it does look a little grainy. It does need some blending. I'm also going to do the shadow underneath it because that makes it feel more like a 3D form. And I'm going to wrap my pencil with the tissue, just twirling it around, blend it out. Next one, hatching, cross-hatching. This is hatching, that's cross-hatching. Hatching goes in one direction, cross-hatching goes in two. Hatching, you're just going to mimic what's above, one direction lines. So that's hatching. Light value, the lines get closer together. That's a darker value. Lines get even closer together. Darker value. Very close together. Darkest value. Try to stay within the box. It will be hard. Okay? To do it on the form, you just curve with the form. So the line isn't going to be straight. It needs to actually curve with the form. It needs to be straight on the table surface. That's your shadow. Cross hatching, same thing, but the lines crisscross. Far apart is light value, closer together is a dark value, and it curves with the form. If you don't curve with the form, again, it will not read as cross hatching, and it won't read as a form. It'll read very flat. Then you're going to flip to the next page on your paper. Another value technique is called scumbling. That's basically a fancy name for scribbling. Really, no joke. Fancy name for scribbling. Scumbling in the light value, you want to be loose and have lots of negative space showing through. As it gets darker, tighten it up a little bit more. Less negative space showing through until it's almost barely any negative space showing through. Stay in your box, keep it neat, keep it clean. Gradually add your value so you don't get too dark too quick. To do it on the form, I like to start out in the lightest area, and then I like to start working my darker area next, and I like to meet in the middle personally. And I'm doing it in a C shape or a crescent moon shape to make it read as if it's curving, and then you've got to do your table surface underneath to make the shadow. Stippling is dotting. When you do stippling, you do not bang the pen or material you're stippling with. It's not going to be this sound that you would hear. It should be so soft we shouldn't even barely hear the noise. Few dots far apart makes it very light. Many dots close together makes it very dark. Just another way to create some value. When you do your value on here, one side's going to have very, very few dots. Again, I like to work my way from light to dark to see how many dots I need to do. The other side's going to have a lot of dots. And then in the middle, somewhere meet between. And I'd finish out my shape. I wouldn't forget to add underneath it little bits to make sure that it is got a shadow. Value can be included in color. So every true color you ever do, that is going to be colored right here. A tint is where you add white to a color. A tone is where you add black or gray to a color, and a shade is where you add black to a color. You're also going to take that true hue and color it right here in all of them. With your tint, you don't actually have to color the white, but on this one, you have to color the white on top. And you see how it makes it a lighter color and it makes it creamy. With the tone one, again, I'm repeating. I color my color, but this time I color my gray on top and it makes it muted. Do the exact same thing with my black, and I would color my black in right here and my tone is gray right there. You're going to repeat the same process going across, showing a value scale, coloring lots of white on the color, very little or more white, less white on the color, the true color, gray on the color, and then black on the color. Last part to this handout you are going to color in your color wheel. There's 3 primary colors, yellow, red, blue. I want them to be colored in the center in the triadic color scheme that they are, neatly and clean, and then where they are on the color wheel. I wrote their names in the color wheel so that way that helps you identify where they need to go. The color wheel is ordered in a special way based off the rainbow and Roy G. Biv, so it needs to be exactly where it goes. When you get to colors that have 2 names, like red violet, blue green, yellow orange, yellow green, okay, those colors need to be colored together. So if I'm going to color red orange, I'm going to take the lighter of the 2 colors, my orange, color it first, and then on top I will color the darker of the 2 colors, the red. As you can see, I'm not leaving white spaces. I'm coloring neatly because that is a part of my grade. This technique that I'm doing right now, coloring these 2 colors together, we've used this word before. It's called blending. I'm going to do that for every single color on the outside of the wheel and every single color on the inside of the wheel. Then I'm going to color, my other color, color them together and identify what the new color is. For all these, my neutral colors are the colors that are not on the color wheel: brown, gray, white, and black. My primary colors I'm going to identify. My cool colors I'm going to identify. Complementary colors are colors that are opposite on the color wheel. So purple is opposite from yellow. Red is opposite from green. Blue is opposite from orange. Analogous colors are side by side on the color wheel. So yellow and yellow-green are analogous. Red and red-orange would be analogous. When this assignment is complete, your name needs to definitely be on it. It needs to go into the turn-in bin. And there will be a second assignment that you can work on that's based off of what you did before. All right.